G'day guys, Will Kitching here. Welcome back to another video and thanks for joining us. Now you may be wondering, Will, why are we starting another video in your backyard? Well, we just got back from a couple of weeks holiday at the Sunshine Coast and I have some pretty awesome footage to share with you from up there. Now, we were really hoping to get out there on the reefs, do some offshore fishing and target those tasty species out there, as well as some estuary fishing, but sadly the weather was absolutely horrible. There was only a couple of days that were all right, and this session was one of those. Now this particular day, it wasn't meant to be calm. There was a small chance that we were going to get out offshore, and when we woke up the wind was low. We still weren't sure what the ocean was going to be like, and it wasn't perfect out there, but we decided to go. There was a couple of hour window to just get a fish in and we were desperate. So we hit the water, we went out through the bar without a plan, didn't know what it was going to be like, and ended up just staying in close and decided we'll target some reefies and stuff like that at some little bombies we know. On my very first drop of the morning, this happened. Not bad. Yep. Snapper. True. Yeah, it could be. I wound it a fair way up off the bottom, but. Oh yeah, a bit like a sweetie. It's going pretty hard. Snap. Yeah. Well done, Will. Oh, nice snap. First drop. Woohoo! That's what we're talking about. That's what those schools are. Get down there. There's good schools of them down there, like bait and stuff, so. Not bad for first drop, guys. So that's a pretty decent little squire. It's pretty reefy here, so all I did was I dropped to the bottom, and just to avoid getting a snag, I wound up about 3 or 4 meters and just came through and absolutely smashed it. No biting whatsoever. So yeah, that was good fun. First drop. Hopefully we can go back up. There's plenty of good shows and bait on the sounder through there around a bit of a bommy. So fingers crossed we can get another 1 or 2 each. Now that was a good way to start the day, and I was thinking we might be in for a good little snapper session, but there was also a lot of bait around. There was birds working everywhere, and we had our fingers crossed that there would be some sort of bigger fish hanging around. A drift or two later, all hell broke loose. I flicked out my bait just like usual. Then put my rod in the rod holder just like this. And went to the front of the boat to tie another line. Suddenly, I heard my drag screaming.
Well, on, big time.
Yep. This is a good fish. Matt, turn that other camera on. This is a big fish. Yep. Yeah. Get out of the way. It's coming up.
Oh geez.
I got him up a bit, so. Nah, it might be Cobia or something, but it's really heavy.
Smashed it.
Yeah. Really big fish. Stay up, please. No. No, he's up off the bottom. No. big tail beats. Yeah. Yes, please, Matt.
I'm gonna bring this parachute in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna bring this parachute in.
This is going to be a cove or something. Look at the tail bits on it. Get the gaff out. It's coming now. Nah. Nah, I think it's going to be a cove. I got it up. I got it up.
Take your time on it. How's your drag?
Yeah, it's good.
What's your boat?
Yeah. No.
You're not taking drag, so that's alright. Just holding your own. You got him up off the bottom.
Nah, still down. Go away.
Now he's warming himself out a bit. Fish, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Coming up?
Yeah, it's going to be a cove. It's a cove. It's a cove.
Yeah, it's a cove. Okay, take your time.
One hook in his nose, okay?
Easy, easy. Take your time. Use your time.
Now just wait. Keep your head in the water.
They're never the gaff.
No, gaff, Matt, gaff. Dad's got it. Just wait. Got him? Just get him in the boat. Get him in the boat. The hook just came out. The hook just came out.
Oh my gosh.
Guys! Woo! Matt, get in the boat. Oh my god! Oh my god! Woo! Oh my god! That's a Cobia.
He's not a giant, but he's a good one.
He's a good one, yeah?
We'll take it.
Oh my god, I need to catch my breath. My heart's going 100 miles an hour, eh?
That's Cobia.
We probably sound crazy, but you do not know how unlucky we've been with cobia in the past and how hard we have had to try to land one. And finally, you know the funny thing? Rod in the rod holder, dead pilchard, tying up another line. That's how you get the. That's how you get them, boys.
Tactic never fails, the rod holder.
Yeah, he's solid.
I mean, it's not target species though, is it? Really? Well done, mate.
I thought he was going to brick me, eh?
Yeah, you had a couple of runs early.
I thought I was gone a couple of times. Shaking, I can't even put this plastic on the jig head. I'll hold it up in a second for you and show you it, guys. We're just gonna make sure it's a bit settled down so we don't drop it back over the side. Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about. We have waited so long to land one of these things. And yeah, finally, it had to happen someday, but we were pretty convinced it might not. Yeah, we're so happy with that. That's an awesome fish. Not huge as Cobia standards go, but it's a very solid fish. Like holding it now, it's a few kilos, and it went really hard. That was only on 20-pound line and leader. So yeah, that's a good effort, I think. But yeah, wow, I'm stoked. Let's go back up there. There's plenty of bait around, so that's why this fella would have been around. The old pilchard in the rod holder. And of course, I put the lucky fishing hat on, and first drop with the lucky fishing hat, this thing smashes it. So just more proof that the lucky fishing hat works. No, I'm just kidding, guys, but yeah, he's a very strong, solid fish. So anyway, woo! Just leave your rod in the rod holder and just tie a line up and you get lucky. You know, the funny thing is, if I was holding that in my hand, I would have wound in to check my bait. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have even got that. Just comes down to total luck sometimes. Total luck and good knots. That's about it. Sorry. Yeah? Oh yeah, very nice. There's another one Dad just got, so that just adds to the esky, which is nice. They all taste absolutely beautiful, so yeah, not complaining. Matt had one on as well about the same time, and he was just unlucky. He's just pulled the hooks. So anyway, try and get some more. We're back on another drift, but this is about the same area I got that cobia before, so fingers crossed. What we're going to do is get a livey and drop that down and see if that gets smashed. Now after Dad got that snapper, we turned around and saw this on the sounder screen. I'm sorry about the blurry photo, but you can see here the edge of a bommy or a ledge with a big ball of bait fish on the right hand side of the screen, and on the left you can see some big fish showing up as arches next to it. I can almost guarantee that that was the school of cobia, because almost instantly my brother dropped down and got absolutely smoked.
No, you're right. You got it up? Is it still running? I think I better buy it. Come on, turn. Yep, don't get him, mate. It's going in the right direction. Yeah. It's going?
Oh, that was probably another cobia right there.
Yeah. Bloody hell! Oh, that was another one.
I had a bite. That was a terrible feeling after Matt had sat there all day waiting for that good bite, and then that happens. But I felt even worse for him when I dropped down almost straight away, and as soon as my bait hit the bottom, something nailed it. Might be a sweetie or something. Had a bit of a dig. Might be a sweetie, I'd say. Oh no, a little snapper. It's alright. Oh yeah, he's in. 37 or something. Not huge, but it's alright. Alright, that brings us to the end of the session, but the video is not over yet. Don't forget, I'm going to give you some tips and talk about all the gear and all that sort of stuff. But seriously, I am still chuffed about that cobia. My first ever, and it was a pretty decent one as well. I'd waited so long for that. Well, all of us, Dad, my brother, myself, we've been trying for ages. We've been unlucky in losing some. We've been teased by some swimming around the boat, all that sort of stuff. And to wait this long and finally get one, it's just one of the best feelings ever. So yeah, the way I got it as well on that light 20-pound gear and the fight that it produced was just absolutely unreal. It was really, really, really good. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. But I'm gonna meet you guys inside and we'll get straight into these tips. Okay guys, before the video finished, I just wanted to come inside here and talk to you about the gear, rigs, bait that we used, and also where you can find cobia, and just give you a couple of little tips really quickly before the video finishes. Alright, firstly, where are you going to find cobia? They really love structures like wrecks, beacons, other man-made structure, and they do love large pinnacles and bommies out on the reef. A really interesting and helpful fact is that on the east coast of Australia here, I'm not sure about everywhere else, but they swim with the whales. So as the whales migrate, the cobia will follow them. So you'll hear a lot of people say that whale season is cobia season, and that could not be more true. A huge factor when fishing the reef for cobia is bait. They absolutely love bait schools. When there's lots of bait in the area, that's when there's a chance of a cobia being around. They're actually often just a bycatch when fishing for snapper and reefies and stuff, and that's exactly what happened here. So I got mine on this setup here, which is 20-pound braid and 20-pound leader, which is just my snapper setup. Now, we know that we can catch snapper on lighter line like 12-pound or 14-pound even, but we always use 20, even though it's a bit lighter for the bigger fish. We just use that tiny bit heavier line. In case we hook one, it gives us a little bit better chance, and that's exactly what happened with this fish, as you saw. I managed to turn it and get it up. If I had anything less than 20-pound, I would have just lost it straight away, and even with the 20-pound, it was a real struggle. But that's why we use 20-pound when fishing for snapper and stuff, because if you do hook a big fish like a cobia, it does give you a bit of a chance. If you were specifically targeting cobia, I would use at least 30-pound at the very minimum, probably, and 40-pound, 50-pound, up around there, especially for those bigger ones, because they're so powerful, and as I said, they go straight for the structure. This here is a bit heavier setup we have for those bigger fish, which would have been ideal to hook my cobia on, but it's got 40-pound, and we use a 60-pound trace with that. You want that bit heavier trace in case it rubs on the fish or they do touch the reef along the way. You want more of a chance to, of that leader holding up. Some people will go even heavier, they'll go like 80-pound. So I don't know, it's just a bit of trial and error. I'm not an expert yet, but the 40-pound would hold up on most fish. In fact, during the session, I didn't include it in the video. It's gonna be the next video or a future video, but Dad hooked a 2-meter fish on this absolute monster and landed it. So this can handle the big fish, and you really wanna stay tuned for that. He nearly died. His back was just stuffed after it. So yeah, they can land big fish, but if you want to go heavier for those bigger fish like 50-pound or 60-pound, just do it, because they are really powerful. So cobia are known as a bit of a garbage guts, and they'll eat pretty much anything from crabs, fish, squid, octopus, stingrays, even eels, all sorts of stuff. They are not fussy whatsoever. They'll eat dead stuff, live fish, everything. Now, ideally, I think live baits such as yakkers and slimy mackerel are absolutely perfect, but they will happily take dead baits, and you saw that as I caught mine on a dead pilchard floated down for snapper and absolutely smashed it. So as well as your liveys, you can use squid, strip baits like a fillet of slimy mackerel, or you can use pilchards, all that sort of stuff. In terms of lures, if you find them schooled up, jigs and micro jigs work really well on them, and so do soft plastics. I'd go 5-inch and above. They're not going to be fussy, they're going to slam it. But yeah, just work it up through them, jig it fast, try it a bit slower, whatever. I think they'll hit it when they're fired up. Alright, so now finally we'll just quickly talk about the rigs. So I think it is best to snell 2 hooks together. They're 5-0s. I actually got mine on 4-0s because I was fishing for snapper, but we have a couple of live bait hooks here, snelled together, and a ball sinker either straight on top, or you can have your length of leader, a swivel, and then the ball sinker on top of that, whatever floats your boat. The other thing you can do is just a snell, hook it in your bait or your live bait, and have it unweighted, just float it out the back. So as I said, you can have your main line, but I'd have a bit heavier leader. So on that, we've got 40-pound main line, and the leader is 60-pound, just for that abrasion resistance. If specifically targeting cobia, you've gone out to fish for them, I'd set baits in different levels of the water column because they'll feed everywhere from right on the bottom to on the surface. So you might want to have one hard close to the bottom, one mid-water, and then another one just floating on the surface, either with a float or just unweighted, just let it swim around. The other thing you can do is, because as I said, they're bycatch a lot when you're fishing for other things, you can be fishing for snapper and just have a livey out, sort of sitting just up off the bottom or something, and you might intercept a cobia that way. It's always worth having it out. You never know what's going to come along. So that brings us to the end of the tips and all that sort of stuff. I hope I haven't blabbered on for too long, but I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you think this could help someone else, don't forget to share the video with your mates. Make sure you subscribe for more, and to see Dad's big fish that he's caught. That's going to be coming up soon, and plenty of other videos. And also feel free to leave a like and comment if you have any questions or anything. All right, I'm going to put this gear away until next time. Fingers crossed for some more cobia in the future, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching this far, guys.